And Swindon Carers Centre is there to support the estimated 21,000 carers in Swindon. However, we currently are supporting or have registered with us active carers, 4,000, just over 4,000 total, and that includes 905 young carers from the age of 5, with the youngest actually being 5, and our current eldest, I think, is 97, about to turn 98. Swindon Carers Centre vision is about creating a community where carers are recognised, valued and supported, and our mission is to improve the well-being of people with caring responsibilities in and around Swindon. The types of carers we support, and we're talking about obviously unpaid carers here, are older carers, so that's anybody over the age of 65, adult carers aged 18 to 65, parent carers over 18 caring for a child under 18, young adult carers 16 to 24, and young carers under the age of 18. Very briefly, some information about our services and what we provide. For adult and older carers, we have a carer support line, which is similar to a social work duty desk, those of you that work or know social services, where you can contact us for advice, general information or signposting around your caring role. We offer one-to-one support where we complete full Care Act 2014 carer assessments, which a carer is entitled to under that Act by law, irrelevant of whether the person they're looking after decides to access social care or not. Part of that is also support with accessing any grants or funding that may be available for breaks or respite if their carer is eligible. We have a small benefits advice team, which I think off the top of my head last year saved unpaid carers over £300,000 in unclaimed benefits. We have access to breaks and complementary therapies with a small groups and activities team. We have some training sessions, self-help groups and activities. Some of them are more in depth than others. For example, we recently had one around lasting power of attorney and will writing. We have a qualified volunteer counsellor, and it's the only part of our service where we ask for a small donation if the carer is able to do that, just to cover the cost of the counsellor's supervision. We offer bereavement support as well for 6 months following the death of the dependent, and up to 18 months carers can still access our groups and activities, especially when they've built their relationships with other carers. But the carer does have to be registered with us to access the bereavement support. And we have an emergency card scheme, which I will come on to in a further slide. Our parent carer support team, which again is for caring for children under the age of 18 with additional needs. They complete parent carers assessments, which are similar to the adult care assessments. They provide practical and emotional support. They're a source of information on local services and how they could help. And one of our parent carer support practitioners is actually a parent carer herself, so she knows exactly what parent carers are going through and the struggles they face. And she also helps link into some of our own parent carer groups, as well as those run by other organisations. The emergency card scheme, which is for adult and parent carers only, is in the event of an emergency to the carer, a plan is put in place to support the dependent and make sure they're safe and well. This is where robust and accurate plans are drawn up, detailing the needs of the dependent or the cared for, whichever terminology some people use. These plans also make a note of any emergency contacts the carer may want, i.e. family, friends. And if the carer has no emergency contacts or there are none to add to their plans, all plans, irrelevant whether they add emergency contacts or not, do default to Swindon Borough Council Social Services. The plan is shared with Swindon Borough Council, who cover the 24/7 emergency line. And then a card like the one on the picture, a little red credit card type thing, is sent out to the carer with the 24-hour emergency phone numbers on it. If you know somebody with an emergency card, a carer, or they wish to register, wish to access the scheme, they do need to be registered with us. But people also need to make sure that paramedics, Great Western Hospital staff, GPs, receptionists, care workers, if anybody comes in, family, friends, and even the dependent are aware that the carer does have an emergency card. Coming back to the support we offer, young adult carers, so YACs, age 16 to 24, we have a dedicated YAC support practitioner who supports 16, 17-year-olds with the transition into adult services and often liaises with schools and colleges for further support. The over 18s are supported by my team, the adult support team. We run several specific events and social activities for young adult carers. breaking down again those between 16 and 17-year-olds and those for 18 to 24. And they also support, the practitioner and my team also support young adult carers with accessing grants for things like driving lessons, laptops and breaks to support their caring role. The young carers support team complete assessments with the young carer. They provide activities and breaks where possible, including regular term time ones and often school holiday activities, including festivals and weekends away. Young carers can also access one-to-one support if necessary and they are particularly struggling with their caring role, and that will then enable the practitioner to support them with opportunities like laptops and tablet funding, but also working in partnership with multidisciplinary teams, children's social services, schools and colleges. We also have a volunteer young carer counsellor, which is great for our young carers. And we also, the young carers team, work with the schools to achieve the Young Carer Award and help young carers achieve the Young Carer Champion Award. Very quickly, referrals can be made by anybody, professional or carer can self-refer. We ideally signpost people to our website because the registration documents are all on there and it does speed the process up. You will just get a letter from us informing that you are then registered. Alternatively, because not everyone obviously has the internet or is able to use it, if they do, they can email us if they're not great at filling online forms, or you can call us on our generic number 01793 531133, where you will then be given a series of options depending if you're an adult carer, a parent carer or a young carer. Please follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and a YouTube channel. Particularly the YouTube channel has a couple of 2 or 3 great videos on there, especially one from a group of young carers that was made a couple of years ago. If you're out of Swindon area and you feel you need support as a carer or you know somebody that needs support, we suggest you go to the carers.org website, where we will signpost you to the nearest equivalent organisation. Not all organisations across the country will support carers from the age from top to bottom. Some have different organisations, so that suggests where you start. And that's me done. Thank you very much. Unless anybody's got any questions.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Stuart. And yes, please, whilst you're unsharing, I will open up to questions over to the floor. Got lots of little thank you messages coming in the chat. Any questions for Stuart? Or we will move on.
Obviously, the slides will be shared, Joel. Will they?
Yeah, that's yeah, exactly. We'll offer. There's going to be a lot of slides, so I'm going to offer that as an option. But yeah, that would be great. And
if anybody's got any particular questions around Swindon Carers Centre, I'll put my email address in the chat. But this isn't for referrals. I wouldn't want any carers delayed being registered by you emailing me, and I'm busy and don't get back to people. So the referral process is as per the slide. But if anybody suddenly thinks of any questions, there's my email address.